Welcome to State of the Offense in Week 1 of the regular season. Today we will cover the matchups that affect fantasy football in the game on Sunday between the Bengals and the Browns. Joe Burrow missed most of training camp with a calf injury, but he is no longer on the injury report. Burrow may not have the confidence to rush the ball as often as he normally does, but Joe Burrow is always a fantasy starter when he plays. The Bengals have a clean injury report across their entire starting lineup, but Cleveland has 2 injuries in the secondary, which bear watching. Cleveland's best cornerback, Denzel Ward, has been in concussion protocol and he has been limited in practice. Starting free safety Juan Thornhill is not practicing with a calf injury. If Ward and Thornhill are not full speed at game time, Joe Burrow can have a big game statistically. While the Browns seem to be going into this game with issues on the back end, the Browns have a decisive advantage on the line of scrimmage against the Bengals. Jonah Williams is the new starter at right tackle, and he will be matched up against Myles Garrett, which is as difficult an assignment as there is in the NFL. I'm only ranking Joe Burrow as my quarterback 7 this week because of the protection issues I believe that he'll face. Plus, Cleveland always seems to find ways to be effective against Burrow in their matchups. Joe Mixon is the clear-cut running back in Cincinnati now that the Bengals allowed Samaje Perine to sign with Denver. Mixon should play almost every down this week because rookie Chase Brown and Chris Evans are unproven pass protectors. I expect Mixon to get extra targets in the passing game to slow down the Browns' pass rush. Joe Mixon is a very safe start in fantasy this week. I rank Joe Mixon as my running back 16, which should make him a mid-level running back 2 in fantasy. If Ward misses the game, the Browns' cornerback 2 and 3 will have to cover Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Even if the Browns play a lot of zone, the injury to Thornhill at free safety impacts the Browns' ability in zone. I expect huge days from all 3 Bengals wide receivers in Week 1. Jamar Chase is my wide receiver 2, T. Higgins, wide receiver 8, and Tyler Boyd, wide receiver 20. If the Browns' defensive backs are completely healthy on Sunday, I still believe in the matchup advantages that the Bengals' wide receivers hold. Irv Smith Jr. is beginning a new chapter in his career with the Bengals. In 4 years in Minnesota, Smith was never able to live up to his potential because of injury. Irv Smith Jr. has an above-average chance to be productive. If Burrow has time to throw, every receiver will benefit. Irv Smith Jr. is my tight end 6 in Week 1. Deshaun Watson has received plenty of criticism because of his off-the-field issues and his suspension in 2022. Watson's play was subpar when he started the last 6 games of the year. The Browns have plenty of talent on the offensive side of the ball, so there should be no excuses for Deshaun Watson this year. The Cleveland offensive line is annually one of the best in the game. Amari Cooper is a strong wide receiver 1. David Njoku is better than any tight end Watson played with in Houston. Nick Chubb is an all-pro running back. The Bengals' young secondary should not put up a lot of resistance to the Browns' passing game. This should be a quality start for Deshaun Watson. He is my quarterback 8 this week, right after Joe Burrow. Nick Chubb is possibly the best rusher in the game. With the quality of the Browns' running game, there is no reason to think that Nick Chubb can't have a big day against the Bengals. Kareem Hunt is no longer there to take touches away from Chubb, so Nick Chubb may actually start producing more in the passing game now. I have so much confidence in Nick Chubb this week that I rank him as my running back 1. If the Browns' passing output is as good as I think it will be, the Bengals' defense will have an impossible task of trying to stop Nick Chubb. It will be interesting to see Amari Cooper play with a quarterback as talented as Deshaun Watson. Elijah Moore and Donovan Peoples-Jones are the Browns' complementary wide receivers, so Cooper should have good matchups. Because I believe the Browns will run the ball effectively, I don't necessarily think that all 3 wide receivers will excel, but between Moore and Peoples-Jones, I believe one of them will do well. Amari Cooper is my wide receiver 13 this week, and Elijah Moore is my wide receiver 33. I think that Elijah Moore's big play ability is what gives him the edge in my eyes. David Njoku is an excellent tight end who should benefit from the attention the linebackers and safeties will have to pay to Nick Chubb. Njoku should be Watson's main checkdown receiver in this game, so I think that a strong start is likely for Njoku this week. The number 2 tight end, Jordan Akins, was solid in Houston last year, and he can sneak in some quality fantasy weeks. The Browns probably have both tight ends on the field because of the emphasis of the running game. I rank Njoku as my tight end 12, which is a start-worthy play. If you like today's coverage of the Bengals and Browns game, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.